So even as a kid, I knew, when I coach people, I really want them to understand that the most successful people in the world know two things. You're probably aware of those. And they know what they want and they go get it, right? And if you don't know what you want, it's very hard for you to ever get it. It's very hard for you to be successful in anything in life. And I remember that moment on the field when my father kind of gave me that no look pass. I thought you were a football coach. No, I'm not. I'm a builder of men. And I remember thinking I want to be like my dad right then. So I knew what I wanted at a young age. I wanted to coach. I wanted to be in front. I wanted to change lives. I want to be that authoritative figure that could not manipulate people, but motivate them with a persuasive skill set for the good.
Well, hello and welcome back to Push to Be More. I'm your host, Matt Edmondson, and we're about to dive into another deep exploration of what truly fuels the journey of life. And today, I've got the exciting guest, Todd Saylor from Wired Differently. We're going to be diving into what his unique life experiences are, and there are many, let me tell you, the hurdles he's had to push through and the way he recharges his batteries and his spirit, and what steps he's taking to be more. Now, don't forget, you can find all of the show notes and the transcript from our conversation on the website pushtobemore.com. And whilst you're there, if you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up for the email newsletter. And each week we will zip all of the show's insights, links, and goodies direct to your inbox absolutely free. Very cool. Okay, now this episode is proudly powered by Orion Media, the magic behind the scenes that lets entrepreneurs and business leaders like you and me amplify our voices by hosting our own podcasts. But you might be thinking, why on earth would I want to start a podcast? Well, let me tell you, my podcast journey has been nothing short of transformational. It's not just about marketing, although marketing is a massive part of it. It's about community, it's about connection and amplification. It's given me a platform to celebrate my customers, my team, my suppliers, and created a ripple of impact far beyond what I could have imagined. But I get it. The technical stuff can feel daunting. Setup, distribution, getting the tech right, understanding the strategy seems like a lot, doesn't it? And honestly, who wants to get tangled up in production? I definitely do not. And that's where Orion Media steps in. They are the backstage crew that make sure your show goes flawlessly. You get to do what you love, engaging with incredible people, and Orion Media takes care of all the nitty gritty, like the production and stuff you don't want to do. So if you're wondering whether podcasting is the missing piece in your marketing strategy, it's probably time to have a chat with Orion Media. You can check them out at orionmedia.com. That's AURION media.com. So that's today's show sponsor. Let's talk about Todd Saylor, the vivacious brain behind Wired Differently and your future favorite coach. Oh yes, with over 30 years of entrepreneurial flair, running 14 of his own businesses, he's on a mission to give you personal, spiritual, and profitable goals a turbo boost. Yes, he's committed to sparking fresh thinking, promising to revolutionize how you see your world and your place in it, all the while helping you create your fortune. So hold on to your hats, folks, because Todd is going to be great. Todd, welcome to the show. It's great to have you, man. How are you doing?
Wow, Matt. Like did we write that or did you write that?
Sadaf wrote that.
And it was like great, and it even sounded better with your accent. I'm like, I could just listen to it all day, right? I'm great. I'm great. I'm super excited about this privilege to be on your show. And make sure you tell us that if I said hello and thank you for that beautiful introduction. Could you send that over to Abby for us, please? We'd like to use that. So.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, it would be a pleasure, sir. Absolutely, it would be a pleasure. Now, it's fair to say, Todd, right here at the start, you are an accomplished author. We were just talking before we hit the record button about your books. I have one on my desk, Wired Differently, which I'm almost through, which is a great book. Can highly recommend it, ladies and gentlemen. You also have a podcast called Wired Differently, or the Wired Differently Experience, which we were talking about. And so one of the questions I love to ask people, just to kickstart the conversation, Todd, you've got your podcast, and if you could do, like this, like as an interview show type thing, if you could have anyone on your podcast, past or present, that's had a big influence on your life, who would be on your guest list and why?
Oh, I think the low-hanging fruit, obviously, if you read my books, you're going to understand that my father has been like, he's 82 now, the greatest impact of me.
Yeah.
He would have to be, he would have to probably be the first lead in that series because he really formed me in a lot of ways. He was like the precursor to Wired Differently. He was the original Wired Differently.
Yeah.
Right. And he's an amazing man, one of the greatest high school football coaches to ever coach the game. He was a school teacher, raised just an amazing, accomplished man. And we've built this company. One of my organizations is named Tom's Donuts, and it's now happens to be the donut capital of the world. Yes, the entire world,
wow.
man. It is on like Donkey Kong. We let it rip, potato chip. I mean, it happened. We became the donut capital of the world. After 53 years, my father started this little donut shop and founded it, and we rebuilt this thing. And we brought Guinness Book in, and we set the record for most donuts made and sold in 8 hours. And all of a sudden, we had a person from the UK just come. I'm in my Florida studio right now, but I have a studio in Indiana where this donut capital of the world is. And we had Spain, we had UK, we had Germany, and we had France. These people were coming through, thousands of people coming through to experience the donut capital of the world. So this man has just actually been a juggernaut in my life, and I write about him. And matter of fact, I'm making a movie about him right now, thetigerinus.com. If you go to thetigerinus.com, you can actually see a major motion picture that I'm producing about my father. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's about how he taught these men to go the distance in this 10 seasons, set this world win streak record of consecutive wins in 1970, 68 to 76. But ultimately,
is that the one where I remember reading from your book? Was it your dad that told you to go on a running path and scatter pennies?
That's
it. Is that the story that I'm remembering correctly?
You are. That was part of the mindset, the part of this Wired Differently thing. Ultimately, Matt, to cut to the chase, is I thought my father was a football coach. And I remember being 12 years old and seeing him in a practice one afternoon, and there was no football helmets, no footballs, 1971, 72. And I was just stunned. They were rolling in the mud and screaming. A guy was supposed to finish a course, and they said, you can't, you got to finish, get up, you'll die, nobody can help you. Just craziness. And ultimately, someone helped the man up, and he finished the course. All the players celebrated around him, and they said, he lived. And I'm like, what, this is crazy. I thought you were a football coach, Dad. And he walked over to me and he says, son, are you bothered? And I said, I don't understand what's going on here. He said, son, I'm not a football coach. And I said, well, what are you? He says, I want you to understand, these men in 1970, 71 in America here, they're not going to go home and work in the farm fields after football season. They're not going to go to college. They're not even going to go work in a factory. He said, son, these men are going to Vietnam. And what we realized is that he was fathering the fatherless. He was building men to become men in America, because their plight wasn't just to play football. Their plight was to understand their draft number and go to a war that nobody really understood. And many gave up their lives, and some came back, and some didn't, and so that's the preface of that movie, The Tiger in Us. And my father is the tiger, and I want people to understand that there is a tiger in us, right? We have to get into that mindset. We have to get into our soul. We have to understand that there is something in our being, whether you're a man or a woman, that really wants us to fight for the right thing. We're born. God created us to be warriors in a mentality of something, and my father really encouraged that in me through his actions, and watching him not only build a football team, build men, and then help me build the donut capital of the world.
That's amazing. It's so cool that you're doing a movie about it as well, because
You wait till you see the trailer. I dare you not to cry.
okay,
Double
well,
dog dare you.
I will take the challenge, sir.
got
Because why would you not? But I'm really intrigued by the fact that you are doing a motion picture about. How did you just wake up one day and go, you know what, I'm just going to do a movie about my dad, or was it a bit more nuanced than that?
No, I mean, so even as a kid, I knew, when I coach people, I really want them to understand that the most successful people in the world know two things. You're probably aware of those, and they know what they want, and they go get it, right? And if you don't know what you want, it's very hard for you to ever get it. It's very hard for you to be successful in anything in life. And I remember that moment on the field when my father kind of gave me that no look pass. I thought you were a football coach. No, I'm not. I'm a builder of men. And I remember thinking I want to be like my dad right then. So I knew what I wanted at a young age. I wanted to coach. I wanted to be in front. I want to change lives. I want to be that authoritative figure that could not manipulate people, but motivate them with a persuasive skill set for the good. And so over my life, it festered, if you will. And I took a entrepreneurial mindset lifestyle versus a coaching teacher lifestyle, and accepted the Lord when I got married to my wife in 1988. She's an amazing woman. We're pushing 40 years now together. I love her immensely. But at the end of the day, this story was stuck in my head from the time I was a child, because we literally had, and I love that you're asking this question, because we had people come live with us for the whole last season of this win streak record. Steve Gebhardt, he did a lot of stuff with Yoko Ono and John Lennon, and he did the Rolling Stones documentaries, and he did a lot of work, and he leveraged everything he had to live with our family in a little house for almost a year, filming on 8mm film. If they win all these 9 games, they break this world record, and he's got a documentary. There's no ESPN, right? There's nothing like that. And so we bring in these New Yorkers, and the F words thrown around, and marijuana. I mean, it was like a whole nother world showed up at my house, but it was so intriguing. They're going to make a movie. Well, as it goes, the documentary never got out. The guy dies, blah, blah, blah. And they have the movie sold, and he doesn't sell it to ABC because they want to do a thing called Friday Night Lights, and he wants it to be an Oscar-nominated movie. So he passes on it. The team breaks up, and we know what Friday Night Lights does. But I keep trying to make this documentary over 20 years, and I always thought it was just, it's a movie, right? And so I'd had my last documentary $20,000 expense to somebody to blah, blah, blah. It didn't work, and we couldn't get all the footage that was found and was taken. And I'm like, no, this is a major motion picture. I'm going to produce it. I've got the money. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make this movie. Wow. And so my social media team produced this amazing video at thetigerinus.com. Go to thetigerinus.com. I got invited to the Super Bowl in February, and I spoke to the NFL and some of the players in the NFL in a large arena, and they premiered the movie George Foreman. I know this is American movies and stuff, but it's a global movie. And I got to premiere my movie after the George Foreman movie, and we got a standing ovation.
Fantastic.
Yeah, from the wives and the mothers and the NFL players. And so we got a great story here, a heartwarming love story between a son, a father, a calling of a coach and a father to love and father the fatherless. And where did God fit in all this, right? And so that's where we're going with it. So that's who I want on my podcast, Matt. And you're a close second.
You know what, Todd? I don't mind being a close second to your father after that story, because frankly, I should not be anywhere near the top. But no, that's extraordinary. What an extraordinary life your dad's. My favorite story. Can I tell you what my favorite story was about your dad in the book, other than scattering the pennies on the running track to feed superstition, which I thought was hysterical. Was the I just read it actually the last night, the bit where you decide that you're going to marry Tracy. And Tracy is, you meet at college, right? And you ask her out on a date. And forgive me if I butcher the story, but you ask her out on a date. And she says, well, I can't because I'm going on a date with somebody else. And you're like, great, I'll see you at Saturday at 8. She calls you back. I don't think you heard what I said. I'm on another date. And you said, great, I'll see you Saturday, 8 o'clock, and hang up. She finally calls you back and says, yes, let's go on a date. She kind of got it. You were persistent. I'll give you that, my friend. You go on a date, and then she has to move away. And you go to your dad for the first time and say, Dad, I'm too young to get married. You're like 19, I think. But really love this girl. Want to see if it's going to work out. I need $2,000 so she can stick around for another year. And the thing that I love, I can picture the scene in my head. Your dad walks over to we would call it the boot, you call it the trunk, of his car, takes out a paper bag full of money, and literally throws it to you and says, all right, let's see what happens. And I just think it was one of the most heartwarming things that I'd read. I thought it was brilliant.
It's the truth. I can't take credit for brilliance, when things line up like that. And I'm just blessed that you read that story and you picked that story. My dad was amazing. Matter of fact, when he took me up there, I knew he was going to do something, and he pulled the towel off of it, and he pulled a donut bag out. He had all this cash. He didn't, we didn't have credit cards back then, and everything was cash. And he never wanted to go to the bank every day, so he'd store all the cash in the car and the stove. I mean, he hid it in the ceilings of the house. The guy was like, one of these days, one of the most critical speeches I ever had from him was, "You got to follow me, son." I'm like, "Dad, I'm like 12 years old." He says, "Follow me. I got to show you something." I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "If I die, I need you to know something. My first and only son." I said, "What is it, Dad?" I said, "Don't die. I don't want to hear him." He goes, "Listen, push this tile up in the ceiling." I'm like, "Why, Dad?" He goes, he pushed it up, and they're like, there's piles of money up there. I'm like, "If I die," and I'm like, "All right, Dad, I don't like the pressure here." But so no, we go out to the car, and it was like awful to ask him for money because I paid for everything on my own, and I just he gave me that privilege of working. And he threw me the money, and the quote I believe the quote in the book, and this is the truth of the matter is he pulled the money out, and he grabbed 2 stacks of $100 bills, which was 1,000 and 1,000, I believe, and he just tossed it at me. And as he tossed it at me, he said, "Go get her, Butch."
That's right. Yeah. That was the
go
quote.
get her. He always called me Butch when he was fathering me up. He was coaching me up. He was like, "Butch, come here, Butchie boy." And the money was coming at me like in slow motion, Matt. And I was like, "Man, go get her, Butch." So, it's a beautiful story. And "Get the Girl" is the name of I tell that speech, that story in my keynote on many occasions, called "Get the Girl." And my wife, she didn't want anything to do with me. I mean, I knew she liked me, but she had another guy, and he was a basketball player. And I'm like, "A basketball player?" you got a football player calling you. So I'm like, I'm going to show up. She can turn me down to my face. I was going to walk across campus, and I was going to be there, and we were going to go side by side. And if he was there, she's going to have to pick, right? So I don't think she wanted to go through that.
No, well, obviously your persistence paid off, my friend.
40 years.
Yeah, 40 years. It's a remarkable journey. Now, you've obviously along there. Then you meet your wife. You've built 14 businesses over the years. One of them, the donut thing, which is congratulations on being the center of the donut world. And when I'm next in Indiana, I will be stopping by for a donut. There is no doubt. And no doubt my daughter will be with me because she is a big donut fan. What have been some of the big challenges that you faced, Todd, on that journey? Some of the big things you've had to overcome, because I can't imagine it's been all plain sailing.
No, I got to tell you, I'm just an emotional guy today. I think the biggest thing was my first big company, Paysurf Systems Incorporated. That's a 2003 model, and if you read the book, which you have, and I appreciate that, I don't mean that in a condescending way at all. any of you get a chance to read the book, my first organization, I walked out on almost $1 million a year income to start this company called Payserve Systems. And it was all built on a belief structure that God had called me when I was preaching about the truth. And I'd realized that this business I had built for someone else, the second publicly traded PEO in America or the world at that point, was built on a basis of tax manipulation rules and wasn't really built to last. And 9 years of that. And I thought, I don't want to live my life that way. God called me. I was preaching and he said, you got to leave there right on the stage. I felt like, I'd called myself out because I realized that I was in essence lying to people about the product because I was leaving out certain things that may affect them. So when I left there that week, that day, I go to my wife again and I said, honey, I just don't, we're young. We got 2 babies and we got the world at our feet. And never thought we'd be making this kind of money, but God doesn't want me here. I need your support. She goes, I can't wait for you to leave that.
Wow.
And I was fearful that, we had been poor. We had been bankrupt theoretically twice. And here we are finally making it. And she's got things that she's never had and access to me that she's never had and 2 little kids. And I'm telling her, this isn't our future. Yeah. And so we ended up building Payserve Systems in 2003. We left that behind. We took what we knew about that industry and we built the largest HCM, human capital management company, a software that does HR and payroll in America for 1,000 employees or more in the UKG ready space. So we have clients with 1,000 employees or more in every state in this country. And we have been very, very, very successful dominating that space in this software. And we named the company Pay because that's what we do, and serve is how Christ led the church. And so that was it's been an awfully good experience building that, losing money, employees stealing money, the failures of banks canceling us, the pressure, what it did to our marriage, what even now I think in some regards America's kind of interesting in this regard of how my children even look at me from a push to be more person, right? You're in an epic battle as a parent. Do you work hard when they're babies in hopes to have something for them later?
Yeah.
Or do you take all the time you can with them when they're young and then scrounge in your 40s to figure out how you're going to make this work? I tried to do both. I just wasn't wired to be able to do both. I mean, I'm all in or I'm not. And, we traveled a lot and being away from the family took its toll. And I just want to help people, right?
Well, thank you for sharing. So the building of the company then, right. Obviously a lot of ebbs and flows.
We still have that company. It's the juggernaut. It's the lead dog in this 14 entity stable that we have right now, Matt. Very sure.
So you build this company and go, well, one company is not enough. I need another 13. Is what happens here. So obviously you've built these companies up over time. You're still married to Tracy. Things are still going 40 years, which is great. So how did you manage family in what is a rapidly growing environment with a lot going on?
Yeah. Well, I think, when you come from a version of poverty, I mean, we all have a version of poverty. I mean, I came from a middle-class family. My father was a high school teacher in this day and age where 1970, I think he was making $4,000 a year teaching high school, and they were giving him $700 to be the world's greatest football coach, right? So we did the donut shop in the summers, and my father said, you have to have a craft. You have to be great at one thing, and the rest will work out. And he said, you're going to be a great donut maker. I said, well, I'm going to be a professional football player. He goes, well, you're going to be a donut maker first. So my craft actually is a donut maker, right? A baker. But whether he knew what he was doing or not doing what he was doing, he was teaching me how to be an entrepreneur. He's teaching me how to be a boss. He's teaching me how to be a leader. And I choose to believe that's what he was doing. So I had no choice but to be an effective leader. I mean, they didn't pour God into me. I started going to campus life or some Christian events when I was in high school. But not until my wife, that my father literally told me to go get her with $2,000, did not I actually accept Christ into my heart. So I think there's a lot going on there. But at the end of the day, I was born to be an entrepreneur. I've never worked for anybody. The only job I ever had was one W-2 job, and it was with PepsiCo, and I hated it. But I learned how to run a restaurant, right? I learned how to run Taco Bell. I learned, I was just gifted with, I think, this idea of being able to transcend people and communication and literally triangulate it with a bottom line. But at the end of the day, it's probably the favorite quote I have in that first book. It's not just the efforts that we make, Matt, but more so the distances that we're willing to go.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't a bad father. I just wasn't a present father all the time. And, 30 years later in America, I mean, they're throwing stones at me, right? That's the type of, so I think God is in it. I know God is in it. I have 3 great daughters. I have 4 grandchildren, and I have 14 companies. I've built more than 14 companies, but I think as you aspire to grow in business in this day and age, I think more than one stream of income is required.
Yeah.
I teach people how to build a business, I'm not Grant Cardone. I teach you how to build a small business. I teach you how to create a business that will create passive income. That if you're not participating in a 401k, an ROA, IRA, or any type of pension program of any sort of the nature, at least when you're done with your small business or small businesses, you're going to have passive income in your retirement days, or you have something to sell. I teach people how to make companies reoccurring revenue. Passive income is the most effective way to build an organization. Transactional sales are not where the world's going. That's not going to give you that certainty, if you will, of what's going to happen the next day. It's not going to give you that multiple to sell your organization down the road at any real factor of understanding. So that's what I do. That's what we do. And I looked at you. You have sold amazing amount of coaching prospects. And so I want to commend you on what you're doing. You're very, very impressive, man.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. I don't think so, but thank you. So the drive then to help other people set up and run their own business, it sounds like, you saw your dad coaching people, you wanted to be like your dad, and you found this sort of groove where you can coach people entrepreneurially and sort of in business. I'm curious, Todd. I know that when I'm coaching people is when I feel the most alive in terms of my job. Do you know what I mean? You kind of go, this is just, I love what I'm doing here. Is it the same for you?
Not always, no.
So why not always?
Yeah, I know. You didn't send me these questions. I'm just being honest.
No,
because
no,
I think because I'm still the man in the arena, right? I think the thing that makes me very good at coaching is the fact that I'm still in the arena, right? And so when you're in the arena, the kill or the victory or the win is that deal that makes you money or makes your organization money, or the sale of an organization. And so, I'm alive when I'm with my students. Don't get me wrong, students. You hear this? I love you. I'm about you. But you got to understand, man. I'm a happy warrior, right? I got to go out and get my fix, and that's how I stay fresh for them. I think, it's hard to sit back on your laurels in the changing social media world, the e-commerce world that we live in. Everything's moving so damn fast, man.
Oh, yeah.
How can you expect a guy who's 60 years old like me to be teaching and preaching off of a drop-down mindset in software practices when that's not how it works anymore, right? We're not taking out ads in the newspaper anymore. I have a whole team that runs all of my stuff for my organizations that I've been able to bring into the fulfillment center to sell my books, to sell my shirts, to do the multiplication, the productions of the social media. It's a big, big team, right? So, no, sometimes I feel like when you're not doing your damn homework, I'm not happy with you. Why are you paying me to explain these things, to share with you when you show up and you don't have your stuff done? Yeah. Honestly, I'm not at the top of I'm not feeling happy right then, because I've got 3 other students that really need some help, and they're doing what I'm doing. They're getting to Abby, and I've got coaches coaching them, and I got a $1 million deal laying over here that I can go get done and take care of some problems for something else, right? So I don't know. You're probably not going to hire me now because I'm telling you the truth. But at the end of the day, you want a guy that's on fire for the Lord. You want a person that's on fire to win, and you want a person that's still in the arena to some degree, that's up in it and still ready to win it, right? So that's a little bit of that answer. So
no, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So
is it really? Because I felt like I put you back on your seat and I was going to get in trouble.
No, not at all. The one thing I love is just open and honest conversation. And I love it when people are just genuine and real. It's like, no, clients, you hack me off when you don't do this. And because I think that is fantastic. That's a beautiful thing. And you're not painting visions with rose-tinted glasses that aren't real, which is what social media is all about. It's just all fluff and nonsense, and it's not real and it's not true. And it does my head in, if I'm honest with you.
You wait till this place, because you and we're brothers, man. I'm telling you, it is my Tiki Hut retreat. I just did a Tiki Hut. I'm doing my second Tiki Hut retreat coming in November, where we teach entrepreneurs to triangulate their personal. We help them personally, spiritually, and profitably. I did a whole hour I pulled up Facebook, those shorts of all the stupid things people say on how to make money, and and I brought up one of my partners. He's an accountant. He's my college roommate, Bob. He's in the story about Get the Girl, that roommate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Bob is my strategic partner. I have been dating Bob 3 months longer than my wife. And the running joke is I played football with him, so I showered with him before I even, So anyway, sorry for your podcast, but I love this man, right? And so he's there. He's the one I'm telling. Tracy's there. I got to get the girl, and he's like, "Why do you keep going back to the phone?" And as I said, I'm going to go back until she says yes. But so that's what's going on there, right? And I think it's important.
Yeah, it is. No, it's super important. And the nonsense and the fluff is just
it's cut through it, because we end up did a whole show the other day on me versus me. At the end of the day, Matt, you're a coach, you're teaching, and when it comes right down to the bottom line, when someone's going to do their homework or not do their homework, when someone's got to make a decision, someone's got to actually go sign on the dotted line. You're not signing on someone's papers to get a loan. You're trying to do the best you can for them. But at the end of the day, they have to make a decision. It's me versus me, right? And at that point, our job as a coach is only to be able to coach them up in learning, only to coach them up from a strong mindset, only to give them some direction, maybe to be praying with God for some wisdom in this regard, right? But we cannot create the switch in the subconscious, or the mind to tell the subconscious to make the right sense, to sign this for the right reason.
So true.
And as a coach, we should be spending 70, I don't know what the number, I'm making it up, but a large percent, of our coaching needs to be on their decision-making processes.
Yeah.
And they can't do that if they don't understand the power of what this. I saw something in one of your but the release the hounds. I mean, this subconscious is a real deal. Napoleon Hill, he's an old dude. He talks about a lot of this stuff, and it's real. A lot of smart people, Tony, a lot of them It's real. God gave us a subconscious, right? He
Hmm.
gave us free will. Now, what we do with the free will, are we going to choose him to drive our free will or not?
Mm.
God loved us so much, Matt, that he said, I'm going to give Elon Musk, I'm going to give Jeff Bezos, I'm going to give them a super driven subconscious, and I'm going to let them use it to the capacity the world has never seen before. And I'm not going to predicate it on whether they choose me or not.
Mm.
That's how much God loves us.
Well, that's by
And
very definition free will, isn't it?
yes, that's my definition,
Hmm.
brother. And I appreciate you saying that, because at the end of the day, God just really wants us to choose John 3:16. He just really wants us to say, man, I like what you did. I
Mm.
choose you. I want you to be in my subconscious. I want you to help me decide what your will is with my will.
Yeah. So,
ToddSaylor.com. That's where you're going to get that, brother.
yeah, the new book, Your Will Be Done. So faith is obviously a very important thing for you in terms of your journey. So you found faith around the time, it sounds like, when you got married. And it's obviously playing a big part in you now. You've written your third book is Your Will Be Done, which is, I mean, you've just given us a wonderful summary of it, haven't you? Is sort of, aligning your subconscious, your desire to do and to achieve and to be with the creator, with God, versus without him, I suppose. So yeah, faith is, it feels like faith is a very important part of life for you. Would that be a fair reflection?
Yeah. It's funny because my dad introduced me to God. My mom, I think she was raised Catholic, but we didn't go to church often. But they would fight on Sundays about going to church, not going to church.
Mm.
The kids would be like, Mom, we don't want to go to church. And my dad is like, we don't need to go to church. But on the football field, my dad was very faith centered. He's angel centered. He was storied God. I never heard my father growing up say Jesus Christ once
Mm.
in a good way. I heard him say God. My mom would fight to go to church, but we never had. But so it was there lurking,
Mm.
tugging on me. I felt God always tugging on me. I remember going to church one time, and when I was 16 years old, and I was having a really rough time, and I don't know what it was. I do know what it was, to be honest with you. And I was at a Methodist church, and I was just so distraught. I'd done something I wished I wouldn't have done. And it was at a Methodist church, and the pastor, they always had this, the hymnal and the lesson plan or the organization of the service, and
Mm.
it always had a spot in there where there was an altar call at the
Mm.
Methodist church, and there was a place where people could go up there and get down and pray. And so the pastor would always, have the prayer time for that, but he would never announce to come up. It was just not part of the Methodist church. That is a very kind of a loosey goosey denomination, but we were there, and I remember reading it, and I was just distraught over this thing I did. It was just awful. That wasn't awful. It just led to some circumstances that could be life altering. And I remember reading that, and I felt God pull me out of that pew, right?
Mm.
You're right about this, to be honest with you. I'd pull me out of the pew, and I went up there, and I just remember feeling all these people in the church that were supposed to be praying, kind of looking
Watching.
up like,
Yeah.
what's he doing? What's he doing? And I was like the loneliest place ever. And I made my way out of the pew, down the aisle, the red carpet, and I went up there, and the pastor was up there, and he was praying, and I got on my knees, and I prayed. I really feel that was the beginning of the true attraction, the real calling, that whether it
Mm.
was because I was down and out, or it was some consequences, some actions that were going to change the course of my life, and quite possibly. And I I really believe that was the beginning. So I continue to talk to God. I never never used Jesus as a mediator. Habakkuk, I was just reading this morning, I believe it was, about Christ being the mediator. And it's funny how you're bringing me to this point, but I just didn't have that in me. But I did know God. I knew the story, and through football, I would pray. We would do the national anthem. In wrestling is where I first heard Matthew 6:9. I didn't know really what it meant. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. That was when I first heard it, and I used to recite it before a wrestling match for strength, not knowing really what it meant. It's a really great question. No one's ever asked me, and I really appreciate you asking me. But it wasn't until I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and my wife, get the girl. Maybe that's why God had her say yes. I mean, I don't know that she was really that attracted to me.
Well, obviously, it's interesting you say that because, Todd, I have asked my wife, Sharon. So I met my wife, funnily enough, at church, right? So I met my wife at church, and I remember as soon as I saw her, just thinking, yeah, something's going to happen here. And it wasn't until 18 months later, and that just every day for like 2 weeks, I just randomly bumped into Sharon. I'd not seen her. I'd seen her a little bit here and there, but every day for 2 weeks, I randomly bumped into her. Some of those instances, I have to be honest with you, a bit like you, I engineered them. But only a few. The rest of them were just like, I would see her in the oddest of places where I wasn't expecting to see her. And so it became a bit of a standing joke every day for 2 weeks. And I just wonder whether God had a hand in that, because we started dating pretty soon after that. And after we were dating, I said to Sharon, I said, did you actually fancy me? Was there anything there beforehand? And she said, well, there were 3 groups of men in my head. So bearing in mind, my wife was in her mid-20s. I was 25 when we got married. She was 27. So she would have been like 24, 25. She said, I had 3 groups of men in my head. Group number 1 was the men that I thought, yeah, maybe we could, date. So she had a few people in that group. She's never told me who was in that group, but she had a group of men where she...
Don't ask.
Yeah, I don't want to know. There was a group of men where she was like, I definitely could never, ever date them as long as I lived. And she said, and then there was you. So I was in this 3rd group all by myself with no sense of identity. I'm still not quite sure how to feel about it. So yeah, it's just very funny. Great. Well, I definitely won in the end, right? So
yeah, there's no one that can measure up to, Yeah, I wish my wife had that story.
She just tells the story. This guy just would not stop, would not agree to not date her. I think was great. Right, Todd, listen, I'm aware of time, and I'm really curious. We're just going to do the question box. So I'm going to flip through the questions. You're going to tell me when to stop, and wherever that is, we're going to go quick. So today's question, would you prefer a view of a desert or of the sea, and why?
All right. So clearly the sea. I'm looking at it right now. I have been blessed. I have an acre on the ocean.
No.
I know, and I'm looking out my home studio. I'm looking at my beautiful cruiser yacht, and I'm looking at the ocean, and you know what? If I look, I think I might see a dolphin right now. So that's an easy.
Wow.
That was the easiest question of the whole stinking interview.
Yeah, it is. And I'm with you. I would definitely prefer water over desert. I know some people like to go in the desert. They like the wilderness aspect of it. There's just something quite divine about water. I'm converting. I don't have the cruiser boat. I live in England. It's a very different climate. But what I do have is a van, which I'm converting. I'm putting an office in the back of my van. And there's a spot in Liverpool you can drive down to a certain part of the river and open your back doors. So I can sit and work overlooking the river, nice. which is in progress. So I'm like you. I just need water. Just good. It's just good to see water.
It is great. It does have a really healing effect on the brain. And I don't know who would like to live in the desert. I just don't. So
the Bedouins, maybe. Not me at all. Todd, listen, I feel like the conversation is just getting started, brother, and there's so many more questions I have, but time is against me. If people want to reach out, if they want to connect with you, find out more about you, what's the best way to do that? Where should they go to?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest thing is just go to toddsaylor.com. That's Todd, Todd. That's Todd with 2 Ds. Saylor, Saylor. That's S as in Sam, Saylor, toddsaylor.com. Once you're there, you can get to my company, you can get to my phone number, you can get to me, you can set up an appointment with Abby, you can buy the book, Your Will Be Done, you can go to my merch page, you can buy all 3 books, you can buy t-shirts, you can buy cups, you can buy, we've got a little bit of everything wired differently.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I'd just like to share with you is wired differently really truly is the gospel. And I want to just encourage all of you to understand that to be truly wired differently, ultimately, one is we're created wired differently. A quadrillion neurons in our brain by the time we're 3, it's 15 zeros. Think about that cocktail for a moment. And then some point in our life, that creation phase that makes us wired differently turns into an actualization phase where I can teach people, and Matt teaches people how to actually turn this subconscious into a super juggernaut of getting the things we want in our life. But once we convert that to working for Christ and ask Christ into our heart, the third phase of being wired differently is secured, and that is salvation. And to truly be wired differently, you need to click all those boxes, right? And I want you to become a misfit of this world. I want you to feel like you don't belong, because you don't. And I want you to set yourself apart. I want you to be truly wired differently. I want you to be pushing to be more with Matt. I mean, he's brilliant. He's a wonderful architect of the word and his words and what he's teaching you. So thank you for this opportunity. I'd love to have you at toddsaylor.com, and I can't wait to be back on any type of version of anything you're doing in the future, Matt.
Oh, bless you. No, it's been great. It's been wonderful. And we will, of course, link to Todd's info in the show notes, which you can get along for free at with the transcript if you've got it winging its way to your inbox because you signed up to the newsletter. But Todd, seriously, loved your passion, brother. Loved your honesty. Loved the conversation. It's totally refreshing. And I just can't wait to see where the next 10 years of life go for you, man. The 60s are the most productive decade. So goodness only knows what's in store. And I can't wait to see what happens, man.
Yeah, I got one more year before I got to do that. But thank you very much. I know I probably pushed the envelope there, but let's get it on. Let's make it fun, right? Let's get it on like Donkey Kong. Let it rip potato chip, all right? I want to see you in the UK one day, right?
Yeah, well, come on over anytime, man. And we'll play Donkey Kong, the game from the 80s. I think we're showing our age now, just very, very slightly. But there you go. Wonderful. Well, that's a wrap on another invigorating conversation. A massive round of applause for Todd for joining us today and shedding light on his what can only be described as inspirational journey. Love the stories of your dad as well, man. That was awesome. Huge thanks again to today's show sponsor, Orient Media, for all you change makers out there, all you misfits contemplating podcasting as your new vehicle of expression and connection. Connect with them at aurionmedia.com, AURION media.com. Remember, keep pushing to be more. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you get your podcast from, because we've got some seriously compelling conversations up our sleeve, and we don't want you to miss any of them. And in case no one has told you yet today, let me be the first, dear listener. You are awesome. Yes, you are. Created awesome. It's just a burden you have to bear. Todd's got to bear it. I've got to bear it. And you have got to bear it as well. Now, Push to Be More is produced by Orient Media. For the transcripts or show notes, swing on by the website, pushtobemore.com. A big kudos to the team that makes this show possible, including the lady we were talking about earlier, Sadaf Bainon, Tanya Hutzlak, and also a shout out to Josh Edmondson for our incredible theme music. So, that's it from Todd and from me. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an awesome week wherever you are in the world. I'll catch you on the flip side. And until then, keep pushing. Bye for now.